Using the web server that we created in our last lesson, I have gone ahead and created a template, an image of that functionality. Now, this turns out to be a very powerful pattern within cloud services. Once we go through the trouble of creating a new set of functionality that we want to reuse, we can create an image. As you can see here in this diagram, we will create through the browser to the cloud vendor that we have been using, and we will use the new functionality that I have defined. Now, we could have used the operating system, much like we did last time. We chose an operating system image. We could have used a database image, but in this case, I will create a new instance of the web server that we created last time. Now, once we move to the browser, we will see a button that will say Ubuntu Barebones. I've called this image Ubuntu Barebones because it is simply the operating system plus that web server. Now, let's go ahead and move to the browser. And let's go ahead and log in. Again, I'm not challenged because those credentials are cached within the browser. I'm now going to select to create a new cloud server. And once that comes up, you will see that I have the option to select what in this platform is called a snapshot. Again, that is simply a template or an image of the functionality we defined in our previous lesson. I'm going to go ahead and select Ubuntu. I will then choose the smallest machine. I will stay with the default where we created last time. I will select my credential, although I will not use it because this will not need me to log in. It is predefined functionality. And I'll say Barebones demo here. And as you can see, if I needed more, I could simply do the following. In this case, I'm going to only create one, and I'll do so by creating the button. Now, as you can see there, that machine is being created. And now that the machine is done, we get an IP as we have with other services we have created. I'm going to go ahead and copy this IP. And if all went well, I should be able to access it through the browser. Now let's go ahead and paste that in and hit return. And we did not get what we expected. Let's go ahead and give it a minute, and there it is. As you can see, we have a new instance up and running of the amount of functionality that we have defined in the past where we created a web server. Now we have an image, and we can create as many of these as we need. Now, as you might imagine, this is something that is quite useful. Once you go through the task of creating the functionality you need, you can use this rapid creation of new instances to respond to load on demand. You can do the opposite as well. Once you do no longer need them, you can tear all of those down. You can do so programmatically, and you can include that within your platforms. And this is something that is done quite often. This is something that originally Netflix, the company that creates a lot of these services in response to demand, made famous by their scripting functionality, deploying to a cloud of AWS VMs, and simply deploying as many as were needed to respond to load. So this is a pattern, again, that is very powerful and that can be used certainly within your organizations, regardless of what your functionality is. Once you create it, you can go ahead and instantiate it as you need.